I'll never forget the exact moment I realized my new neighbor was going to be a nightmare. It was a regular Tuesday morning, and I was already running late for work. Rushing out the door, coffee in hand, I stopped dead in my tracks. There, inside my garage, not blocking it, but actually parked inside, was a shiny black SUV. For a second, I thought I was hallucinating. My garage door had been acting up lately, sometimes not closing all the way unless I double-checked. But this was next-level entitlement. As I walked over in disbelief, I spotted a blonde woman in her 40s unloading groceries from the trunk, like she owned the place. "Excuse me," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. "This is actually my garage." She barely spared me a glance, continuing to grab her shopping bags. "Oh, I know," she said nonchalantly. "But you never use it for your car anyway. I've been watching. I just moved in across the street, and parking is so limited, this works better for me." I felt my jaw drop. The audacity. I was too stunned to respond as she strutted away with her last bag, calling over her shoulder. "Don't worry about it. I'll be using it daily now. It's a win-win." Little did I know, this was just the beginning of a neighborhood feud that would spiral into police involvement, screaming matches, and ultimately, the most satisfying dose of karma you could imagine. The daily nightmare begins. At first, I convinced myself it was a one-time thing. A weird misunderstanding. But the next morning, there she was again, pulling into my garage like she owned it. I decided to be direct but polite. I waited by my driveway until she finished parking and approached her with my best neighborly smile. "Hey, I think there's been a misunderstanding. I actually do need my garage. I just happened to park on the street yesterday because I was unloading some stuff." She looked me up and down from behind her designer sunglasses, then let out a condescending little laugh. "Look," she said, "I've been watching this house for weeks before I moved in. You park in your driveway, or on the street 90% of the time. My SUV is brand new and needs protection from the elements. Your garage is just sitting there empty." I felt my face getting hot. "That doesn't matter. It's still my property, and I didn't give you permission to use it." She scoffed, waving her hand dismissively. "There's plenty of room for you to park elsewhere. I have 3 kids, and I need convenient parking. It's really not a big deal." For the next 2 weeks, this became my daily nightmare. I'd come home to find her car in my garage. I left notes on her windshield, she crumpled them up and threw them in my yard. I even installed a new automatic garage door opener, so it would close properly every time. Somehow, she got hold of the frequency, and was opening it with her own remote. The neighborhood chimes in. One evening, while picking up yet another crumpled note, my next-door neighbor, Tom, walked over shaking his head. "That's Karen from across the street, isn't it?" he said. "She already demanded my wife move her flower pots, because they ruin the neighborhood aesthetic. The whole block is talking about her. What am I supposed to do?" I asked, exasperated. "I've tried being nice. I've tried being firm. She just doesn't care." "Document everything," Tom suggested. "Maybe set up a camera." So I did. The garage showdown. 3 days later, I decided enough was enough. I left work early, parked my car in my garage, and sat there waiting. Sure enough, at precisely 5:30 p.m., I heard the whir of my garage door opening. Through my rearview mirror, I watched her face shift from casual entitlement to utter shock when she saw my car occupying her spot. Her perfectly highlighted blonde hair practically bristled as she stomped toward my driver's side window, purse swinging wildly from her arm. I rolled my window down just a crack. "Can I help you?" "What do you think you're doing?" she shrieked. "You know I park here at this time. I have frozen groceries in my car." I'm parking in my garage, I said calmly. You know, the one attached to my house that I pay the mortgage on. Her face turned a deep shade of crimson. You're doing this on purpose. You never park here. It's my garage. I can park here whenever I want. And then, she did the most insane thing. She pulled out her phone and called the police. The police arrive. Yes, hello. I need to report someone blocking my parking space. Yes, it's an emergency. I can't access my parking spot, and this man is harassing me. The audacity. 40 minutes later, 2 officers arrived. Karen ran up to them, pointing dramatically at me. That's him. He deliberately parked in my spot to harass me. I've been parking there for weeks without any problems. One officer looked at her, then at me. Whose property is this garage on? She hesitated. His. But he doesn't use it. I need it more than he does, and now he's just being petty. The officers exchanged a look, a perfect mix of disbelief and exhaustion. You do understand that you've been trespassing on private property, correct? And that you just admitted to it. Her face drained of color. She doubled down. This is ridiculous. I'm calling my lawyer. She stormed off, nearly tripping over her own feet. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. The perfect karma. A few days later, I caught her trying to access my garage again. Then my car got egged. And then, I learned something very interesting. Her SUV's temporary tags had expired weeks ago. Not only that, but she had multiple unpaid parking violations. I made a quick call to my cousin Mike, who works at City Towing. He confirmed that expired tags plus unpaid violations equals a prime candidate for impound. I set my trap. I left my garage door slightly open and waited. Sure enough, she took the bait. She parked inside. And then, I made the call. 40 minutes later, a yellow tow truck rolled up, and before she even realized what was happening, her precious SUV was being loaded onto the flatbed. She ran outside in full meltdown mode, screaming at the tow operators, trying to climb onto the truck. The same officers from before arrived, looking thoroughly done with her antics. You need to step away. This vehicle is being impounded due to expired registration and unpaid tickets. This isn't over, she screeched at me. You'll regret this. But as I looked around at my gathered neighbors, some clapping, some filming, I somehow doubted that. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.